Hello, and thank you for joining us today for our Caterpillar Mining webinar. My name is Lou McDuffie, and I'm your session host for the Next Generation Mining Trucks Advanced Features and How They Improve Productivity. My role in Caterpillar is Marketing Communications Consultant for the mining trucks and bodies, so I'm pleased to bring you this segment and introduce our featured presenter, Rob Shea. But before we do, let's cover a few important notes. Let's begin with how to navigate the webinar platform. Your viewing screen is adjustable and it's intended for interaction. You can resize the panels to suit your visual preferences, such as enlarging or collapsing any of the window panels. Do keep the chat open because we utilize that for submitting questions. In the upper right panel is for the post-session satisfaction survey. You can submit questions anytime during the session, but we do have dedicated time at the end to answer them live. If we don't get to all of them, we'll certainly follow up via email. Please note this meeting is being recorded and it will be made available for viewing in the future. Like you, Caterpillar embraces safety first, strives for quality always, and practices our company values every day. We like to begin each meeting with a reminder of those values in action, including everyone going home safely every day, being present, championing the power of everyone, being inclusive and respectful of differing thoughts and opinions, winning the right way with ethical choices, and sharing the responsibility for cyber safety. Here are some safety reminders on the screen, so please read and think through these considerations for your personal safety and for those around you. I'm going to pause while you do so. So if you need to identify people in your meeting room to assist with CPR, AED, or any other emergency needs. Along with safety, we also like to engage in some fun. So let's start the session with a poll to see just how smart this audience is prior to the session. Approximately how many CAT 793, 793D, 793F model trucks do you think are in operation today? Would it be A, 10,000, B, 5,000, C, 2,000, or D, 500? Is someone Googling the answer? Don't bother. It can be found quickly online. Just make your best guess. Some of you are pretty good at that. 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, or 500? Okay, let's see how you did. Wow. In this session, 58% of you get an A+ today. The correct answer is 5,000. Great job, and thank you for participating. Now, I'd like to share a little bit about Rob Shea. He's your presenter today, and he joined Caterpillar late in 2022 as a 793 Product Application Specialist in the Mining Center of Excellence. He's based in Australia and has over 16 years mining experience with Cat dealer Hastings Deering and a deep understanding of mining applications and customer value drivers. His previous role at the dealer included Mining Truck Product Manager, Underground Product Manager, Application Engineer, Mining Account Manager, and Sales Support Specialist. So Rob, at this point, I'll pass it over to you.
Great, thanks Lou. Well, welcome everyone to our webinar on Next Generation Mining Truck Advanced Features. The idea for this webinar came out of discussions with our dealers and customers who wanted to know more or be more aware of the technology on our trucks and how it was actually going to benefit them. We had a bit of feedback from customers saying, we knew that you'd changed the cab and done a few things, but we didn't realize just how much value and how much you'd added to the truck. So we hope that you learned something new out of this today. As Lou said, my name's Rob Shea. I'm based here in Brisbane in Australia. I'm one of the product application specialists for productivity class mining trucks. Unfortunately, Matt Baum, my counterpart in Tucson, Arizona, couldn't join me today because he's traveling internationally with customer meetings. So for those who aren't aware, here at CAT, we refer to the 130 to 240 metric ton class, or the classes, or the 150 to 260 short tons mining trucks as our productivity class. The larger trucks are called the ultra class. So today I'll be focused on the productivity class, which is the 785, 789, and 793. These have all recently undergone new product developments, introducing what we refer to as the next generation. This introduces a number of advanced features that are common across these three trucks because they're built on a common electronic architecture, common cab, and common controls. I should also mention here, because it'll be relevant later through a number of things that we're talking about, that these three trucks in the CAT product range are still mechanical drive. So they have a transmission rather than a generator and wheel motors. There's important efficiency benefits that come out of that, which I won't be going into today, other than to highlight the fact that we have the latest electronically controlled transmissions that we call Apex. And that's critical to enabling some of the features that we'll discuss. So in terms of the next generation development, it's focused on 6 key areas. The first is the cutting edge connectivity, and that's about speed of data, power of the ECMs, and it really is the enabling underlying architecture of the truck. We've focused on the operator environment and really made that really focused on how the operator can be more ergonomically accommodated in that space, boosting the productivity of the operator through the cab and the controls and the control features of the truck. Confidence building controls, which is also around safety and giving the operator confidence in the way the machine operates. Obviously improving maintenance and building for future development with that advanced architecture. So currently the next gen trucks have over 30 new or improved features. And I say currently because they're continually being developed and we're adding more all the time. All of the features that you see marked here at the moment with an asterisk, I'll highlight here, are optional features on the price list. All of the others are standard features that come with the truck. So today we're not intending to get into the nuts and bolts of all these new features, but rather our aim is to give you an overview of a number of the standard and optional features, specifically targeting those that improve safety, performance, and efficiency, and to teach you about the features and how they work. We'll outline how these features add value, and here you'll see in green the ones that I intend to cover today. So, which is actually less than half of the features, but these are the ones that we've kind of considered to be the most significant. So I'll start by giving you an overview of the operator environment and what we've done there. I'll then go into the productivity boosting controls and features that we've added into the cab, but really into the control systems of the truck. And then I'll talk about the confidence building controls and the safety features that have been introduced and added or improved. So some of these will have a less than 1 minute video, which is available on YouTube, which you'll be able to access on demand. We'll provide a link at the end of this presentation where you can take a look at them at your leisure. We'll only have 3 in the presentation today, but there's actually a total of 10 available that you can look at. So let's kick off by looking at the cab. So the whole design focus of the cabin was operator comfort and efficiency. Not only have we significantly reduced the noise exposure level, but we've designed it to comfortably accommodate a larger range of operator sizes. So that's heights and weights of various different sizes. A greater range of adjustability of the seats, consoles, and controls makes it possible for both larger and smaller people to customize a fit for themselves. So when I say, what I mean is we haven't just focused on making the operator so that it fits even taller people, but we've also made it so it fits shorter people as well, and they can comfortably adjust everything. To make everything more user-friendly, we've added these, there's now these two 10-inch screens in the cab. One replaces the traditional dash cluster behind the steering wheel, and the second one is a touch screen off to the right of the steering wheel, which I'll refer to as the secondary display. So these provide access to a much larger array of information, which is tailored to the needs of that particular application at that time. Everything from machine data to the electronic operator and maintenance manual are accessed through the touchscreen to the right. And some of the functions that we'll discuss here today are made possible by having these customizable displays. The screen locations are ideal to keep the operator's eyes facing forward as much as possible, improving safety, reducing fatigue. They provide a simple, consistent, and intuitive user interface for all operations and also reduce the clutter in the cab. So next we'll talk about this concept of the walk-through cab. So what we've done is designed the center console so that it can be completely removed out of the way, and you'll see this better in the next slide, but the center console can be removed out of the way, so can the steering wheel. There's nothing on the floor, so both the operator and the trainer can actually walk straight through the cab, through the middle, accessing and egressing through either door for safety and ergonomic reasons. As I said, the console is fully adjustable, so that means you can actually lift it up, move it forward and back. That's the center console that has the transmission lever on it. The seats also have more leg room for larger operators, but the overall travel and adjustability of the seats has increased. So that means that you can adjust the height and the dampening of the seat independently. So smaller operators can lift the seat right up, but they don't have to have the suspension really stiff. They can soften that right down to suit body weight. There's also heating and cooling functions, which we refer to as GenTherm. The deluxe cab option has advanced cab filtration, which is a pressurizer mounted on the roof, and depending on the application, the needs of the site, that can have, you can include in there HEPA dust filtration or even gas filtration with different types of filters to suit the application. And finally, I should also mention the modular HVAC on the front of the cab. So the new cabs have this fully contained modular HVAC mounted into the front of the cab that can easily be accessed from the deck, and it can be fully removed and replaced with a swing unit in under an hour. So we've calculated this alone saves around 0.5% of physical availability on the truck over a year. So the engine mounted AC compressor is eliminated, and the efficiency of those repairs is significantly improved. So taking a top-down view now, you can start to get an appreciation of how clean the cab is and how much larger it is, particularly if you're used to the D-series trucks. So it's 34% more space in the cab compared to a D-series, providing more room for the operator and the trainer. There's more room for storage, more room for third-party or dealer-installed options. With the deluxe cab option, both the operator and the passenger seats are fully air suspended. And the general feel of the cab is a lot more like an automobile rather than a mining truck. So to that point, and I'll talk about this again shortly, you'll see here at the front, you've got this, this little push button start. So I'll talk about that more shortly. Also on this slide, I'll just draw your attention to the center console that's changed quite a bit. There's, which I'll now talk about in a little bit more detail. Okay, so as you can see, the center console here, we've removed the separate hoist lever and added it to the front of the transmission lever or the transmission cane. Not only is this more space efficient, but improves the ergonomics and simplifies the controls. Now the operator can just put the truck into park and pull the finger toggle for the hoist in one movement. They don't even have to move their hand off the transmission cane. So you'll also notice, particularly if you're used to the D series and older trucks, that the park brake switch has actually been removed and is now just integrated with the park position on the transmission lever. So that eliminates the potential for operating the truck with park brake still engaged. And finally, you will notice this jog dial or rotary dial that we've got here. Which enables very simple and efficient operator speed control functions that I'll get into shortly. So it's also probably important to mention that the operator can still select gears, but the intention behind a lot of these developments, and I'll get into this as we get into it, is that now the truck will do a lot of the gear selection. Well, potentially all of the gear selection for you. You don't need to select the gear whether you're going upgrade or downgrade, speed limit or whatever. Rather than limiting it to a gear or selecting a gear, you select the speed and the truck will choose the appropriate gear. So we'll get more into that shortly. So let's get into the features. So as I said, let's start with this push button start. So the cat key has been synonymous with cat mining trucks since the dawn of time, but now it's gone. Before you shed a tear for the old cat key, let me just get into why we've done that. And now we've this funky looking bezel style rotary button thing. So the way this works is that the off position is here in position 2. You rotate the dial to position 3, which turns on all the electrical systems in the truck, so 24 and 12 volt in the cab throughout the truck. So then to start the engine, you just momentarily push the button in the middle here, what's marked as number 4, and that'll start the normal engine starting procedure, which includes pre-lube and level checks, etc. If you hold that button for more than 2 seconds, then it will actually override the pre-lube and the pre-start procedure and just start the engine cranking instantaneously. So just like our other trucks, that'll actually, overriding the pre-lube will actually give the operator a warning because it's not the ideal case and we don't want to be doing that regularly. So shutting off the engine is very simple. You either just push the button again or turn the bezel off position. So why have we done this, I guess is the question. And the answer is pretty simple. I mean, the old cat key really offered no practical security at all. If anything, it only introduced a nuisance value when the key would go walking and you had to find another one. So this new feature allows us to actually provide more secure wireless options for customers that need it, which we referred to as wireless authentication. So this wireless authentication incorporates a couple of options. There's a Bluetooth receiver and a fob. So each operator can actually be assigned a fob and they can just keep it in their pocket or on them in the cab to start the truck. So similar to the keyless start of a lot of modern cars. The second option is to actually have a key code entered into the secondary display to the right of the screen. So you can either set up a code for each operator or you can set up a code to just be able to start that truck. So it offers practical and real solutions for the customers that are in parts of the world where they need that, and that is a real challenge for some customers now. So, and for customers that don't need the security, the key pretty much added no benefit to them anyway. So that's push button start. So the next one that I'll talk about, which is really quite a new feature. Well, it is a brand new feature. It's built off or replaces some some old features like throttle lock and that sort of thing. This is just much more sophisticated. So cruise control and machine speed limiting are similar, but slightly different in the sense that, and I'll talk about the machine speed limiting first because that's the standard feature. Essentially, the operator is able to set a speed with this jog dial in the center console. And once they've set that speed, they can just keep their foot flat on the accelerator pedal and the truck will automatically control the fuel. Even braking, it will actually slow the truck down if it's on a negative grade. And it will also stop the truck from going any faster than that set speed. So the idea here is that you don't have to lock it into a gear. It can choose the right gear for the best fuel economy and also the best powertrain life and the best comfort, I guess, for the operator. So as I said, it'll also apply the brakes. So as you're coming to a grade, it will actually keep the truck from going over that speed as well, even if your foot's flat on the throttle. So cruise control is really just taking this to the next level where cruise control also controls the throttle. So the operator doesn't even need to put their foot on the accelerator. It will control both throttle and braking to keep the truck at the selected speed. So in a sense, it's very similar to what you'd see in a modern car. So where you'd use these kinds of functions would be, let's say in a mine where you've got restricted speed in a certain area. It might be in the pit or on the dump or in a ROM or stockpile area. So the operator can actually dial in that speed and then just hold the pedal flat or activate the cruise control, and the truck will ensure that the correct speed is maintained while automatically managing powertrain, transmission, and maximizing the performance and the fuel economy. So it has consistency benefits in terms of maximizing the cycle time, but also minimizing fuel consumption and optimizing fuel efficiency. Many of us have cruise control on our cars, so I'm sure you can see the benefits there in terms of reduced fatigue and everything, particularly on longer hauls. The main difference, as I mentioned, I think between the cruise control on our trucks versus your car is it will actually activate the brakes as well. It's not just the throttle. It'll operate the truck within the correct parameters, trying to maintain that speed that's been selected. So that's cruise control and machine speed limiting. I have a quick video on the next one, which is operator speed coaching. So we'll jump into that.
Next generation Cat mining trucks help operators move fast, but not too fast. With operator speed coaching, they'll get real-time feedback based on a wide variety of factors, so they can take things at just the right pace to maximize productivity.
Okay, so operator speed coaching. So as the video said, this provides the operator with guidance on the speed that the truck is capable of doing under the current conditions. So this is an optional feature. So it works in both propel and retard. And the example that we've got on the screen here at the moment is actually in retard. So I'll talk about this first. So when the truck recognizes what we refer to as a retarding condition, so this is, it senses a negative grade because the truck can actually measure the physical grade itself now, and the operator removes all throttle input, then there'll actually be a green range that'll appear on the speedometer, which you can see here, which is based on the grade, the payload the truck's carrying, whether it's empty or loaded, the brake oil temperatures, and some other operating history of the truck to that point. So the top speed of the range is calculated based on the short distance retarding capability, which is for grades less than 450 meters. And the lowest point here, which is also marked by this little green caret mark here, is the continuous grade. So for more than 1,500 meters, that's the speed you'd want to target. So the truck is telling the operator what it's capable of doing and what's the ideal range for that truck. So the and the operator would drive within that range. So if it's only a short distance, obviously they can maximize the speed. If it's a longer distance, then they would aim for the bottom end. The truck doesn't have the ability to see what's coming up, so the operator still needs to provide some input and just apply the service brake if necessary to get the truck to slow down if they're approaching a corner or something else, obviously. So in Propel, the truck will actually provide just this little green caret here and also a target speed. And that's calculated, the truck is calculating its performance potential based on its weight and the grade that it's on. So it'll tell the operator if they're running at the maximum speed or if they're leaving some potential unutilized. So it'll actually give them some feedback as to whether or not they're operating at 100% of the truck's potential or not. As I said, this helps customers to maximize the performance of their asset by providing guidance to the operator and what the machine's capable of. What the idea here is that you bring the skill level of all the operators up to a more experienced operator level. So they know, they can straight away know what the truck is capable of without having to spend years of operating it to actually to get that feel for themselves. So that is operator speed coaching. And the next one, I have another video which goes into the enhanced automatic retarding.
Take things slow and steady with enhanced automatic retarding control. Available on next generation Cat mining trucks. The system senses truck conditions and automatically sets optimum retarding speed, allowing trucks to travel faster during retarding for faster cycle times and improved safety.
So anyone that's operated a Cat truck before will be familiar with automatic retarder control, or ARC. So that part's not new. But in previous models, this function required the truck to have, where it would apply the retarder based on the gear limit that was selected by the operator. Whereas enhanced ARC takes that function to a new level, whereby the truck automatically selects the optimum speed in retarding based on the grade, the truck weight, whether it's empty or loaded, park brake, and the brake oil temperatures. So it's able to utilize the full retarding capability of the truck. So enhanced ARC doesn't require any manual gear selection anymore. So the operator doesn't shift the transmission cane or select the up and down buttons. They simply let the truck determine the appropriate speed. So as you see in the little graphic here, as the operator approaches a grade, they remove their foot from the throttle. And as the truck detects what was referred to as a retarding condition, which is no throttle input from the operator and a negative grade, it will automatically start applying the retarder to hold the current gear that it's in. As the grade gets steeper, as the brake oil temperatures, as it calculates its brake oil temperatures, it will actually slow the truck down as it projects what that grade and that weight will do to the oil temperatures of that truck. So it'll actually adjust its speed as the grade gets steeper and enable the truck to safely hold that speed based on the parameters that it's physically experiencing at the time. So operator selectable arc then is another feature that builds on that again. So going back to the little jog dial, a little dial that's in the center console. So the operator can actually adjust that speed and the speed they select will be obeyed. So if they have cruise control activated, for instance, or if they have the operator selectable arc activated, they can actually select a faster or slower speed than what the truck has calculated. And that's just simply because the operator knows what's coming ahead. So it might be a really short grade. They want to keep up their speed because they're about to go uphill. So they can actually override that, tell the truck to go faster, or they can simply put their foot on the throttle and override. As soon as you put your foot on the throttle, the enhanced ARC will actually stop and the truck will run the way the operator is intending. Or if they have the cruise control selected, it will actually try to still meet that cruise control speed. So let's say you're set it to 40 kilometers an hour, you come to a grade and you're going down that grade, the truck will continue to hold the 40 kilometers an hour until it reaches a point that it calculates that that grade, if it's sustained, will actually overheat the brake oil temperatures, the brake oil. So when it calculates that, it will actually slow the truck down to a sustainable speed to protect itself and protect the operator. Unless, of course, the operator pushes on the throttle, and then they'll be able to override that. So not only does enhanced ARC make it easier and safer for the operator, but when we've conducted studies on this, we've seen up to a 25% increase with some operators in their retarding speed that they maintain. So generally across the board, we see a 3 to 5% increase in retarding speeds with these features. So the system helps to bring the average level of all the operators again up to a more experienced or skilled operator level, which again, like some of the other features, is really what we're aiming for here. And also protecting the asset. So optimizing fuel burn, optimizing component life, not overheating brakes, etc. So very cool development there on the ARC. Okay, auto hoist. So this one's changing gear a little bit here. So what on earth is auto hoist? That's what I asked myself when I first heard of this, so I thought it was important to include it. Look, it's actually pretty simple, but it's not very, the name's not very self-explanatory. So obviously in previous truck models, the operator would shift the truck into park, apply the park brake in the case of a D-series truck, and then they'd move to the hoist lever, raise position, hold the accelerator and increase speed, etc. So none of this is difficult, but it did involve a number of steps that increase the opportunity for inconsistency and inefficiency. So basically all of this has been combined into one movement. So now the operator just moves the truck into park, holds the up lever and pushes the up button on the gear cane, and the truck will take over. So it'll actually raise the engine speed to the optimum speed to maximize the hoisting speed of the body, and it will run it will hoist the body to the point that that's preset in the system, or it reaches its maximum, and it'll do that as quickly as is physically possible. So it removes the inconsistency from one operator to another, and also just makes it a whole lot easier. So for safety and to prevent inadvertent operation of this, the truck must be in park for the auto hoist to work. This means that it can't be activated at speed, and it can be stopped at any stage by just toggling the hoist lever. So in terms of benefits, really it's just simplified and it improves the ergonomics for the customer. It enables the customer to keep looking forward, maintain their situational awareness. They're not looking at levers and where their hands are or anything else. And by controlling the engine speed and simplifying the operation, we have actually seen up to 12-second improvement there on that we've done. So that's just removing the inconsistency and actually making sure that the engine is running at the speed that gives it the maximum oil flow through the pump. So, and then potentially reducing fuel burn by optimizing that dumping cycle. So that's how auto hoist works. As I said, fairly simple, but just makes sense as a feature to add to trucks when you've combined everything together. And while we're talking about payloads, I will touch also on the TPMS2. So very creatively named. This one's very simple. It's fairly obvious what it is. TPMS2 replaces TPMS1. Our creative juices obviously ran out at this point when we were naming these ones, but basically this system leverages off the more powerful electronic architecture we've got in the truck. More powerful ECMs, the faster data transmission, having the IMU on board that can measure grades and machine acceleration, those sorts of things. So Measurements taken under the truck and also in the reway are more accurate now. We've cut down the error by roughly half, which I'll get into here shortly. So the payload is no longer subject to load placement, which is a well-known shortfall of the current TPMS system. If you put the load too far forward or too far back, you got reading under or over, which you don't get anymore. And also the reway is now based on a set of stable condition criteria rather than just an arbitrary second gear change point. So typically the trucks change to second gear while they're still on the pit floor, which is often rough. And so this actually looks for a stable condition throughout the haul cycle to once it knows that it's in a position where it can get an accurate measurement, and that's what it locks in as the reway. So I'll show you here the study results that we've got, which are the two graphs here. So this is on the same truck with the old software and the new software run. So in green, you'll see the results from the new software, and in blue was the old TPMS software. What you'll see here on the x-axis is the onboard scales, and on the y is the sorry, that's the other way around. Is your got my axes mixed up. Is the scales that the calibrated scales are measuring the truck weights on. The solid red line is 100% correlation, so the perfect measurement between the two, and the dotted red lines are plus or minus 3%. So you'll note that the green dots there's quite a number of them on that line, and they never go outside of the 3% error, whereas the blues are consistently inaccurate. And you can see that even better on this second graph on the right, where you've got showing the percentage of error. So in this case here, the green line, which is the TPMS2, not only is the average error closer, so less than 1%, but the overall spread or the standard deviation of that error is dramatically reduced as well. So in terms of customer value, this improves the accuracy of the payload measurements, which has obvious benefits. But we've also introduced a number of other enhancements as well around how we protect the machine and the operator in overload conditions. And we can also report on load biasing and carry back, and just provide more detailed haul cycle segmentation data and reporting. So. And all of this is accessible remotely through the telematics. So significant improvements in the TPMS measurement system there. Okay, so I'll get into some improved and added safety features now. So hill start and anti-rollback are two of our newest safety features that we get asked for these actually quite regularly. So they're often referred to together or considered one thing, but they're actually two different functions. So I'll talk about anti-rollback first. So it's quite self-explanatory. Anti-rollback actually is a feature that just prevents the truck from moving in the direction opposite of the current gear selection. So if drive is selected, then the truck won't be allowed to roll backwards. If reverse is selected, the truck won't be allowed to roll forwards, as you can see in the little graphic. So let's say operator comes to an intersection on a slight grade, they're transitioning from service brake to throttle. The truck may start to roll backwards previously, but now with this system, the service brake will apply, catch the truck, stop it from rolling, and if the operator doesn't apply anything else, any throttle or brake input or anything for more than 60 seconds, then it will actually activate the park brake to hold the truck, and they'll have to cycle through park to get the machine moving again. So we've recently had some customers reach out to us for this feature where they've actually had incidents on site that could have been prevented with this feature. So something's happened to the operator when they were sitting in an intersection, they were on a grade, they haven't held the service brake, and the truck has started rolling back and actually collided with the truck behind. So you can understand the significant safety benefits that this adds. So hill start assist is essentially the next step on from that, where the truck actually uses the physical grade that it measures and the payload data to calculate how much rim pull it's going to require to stay stationary. And then as the operator transitions from brake to throttle, the system will hold and then modulate the brake release as the torque in the powertrain increases to propel the truck enough up that grade. So similar functions on modern cars these days, with hill start assist, but it works both in forward and reverse, much easier and safer to operate the truck. Eliminates 2-foot starts and it also makes for smoother operation of the truck. So you've got less spillage. You don't have the truck rolling back and then the operator mashing on the throttle to get it moving, and all that load shift and stress through the drivetrain. So longevity of components and just safety to operators. Again, significant improvement to the safety and efficiency of the machine here. So the next one's not really a safety improvement. It is a operator confidence and ease feature. We'll talk about is what second gear start. Again, pretty self-explanatory. It's quite literally the truck will start in second gear. So there's plenty of torque available to these trucks now where they can actually pull away in most cases in second gear quite comfortably. Now the truck will calculate based on its weight and the grade that it's on and everything else if it's going to need more torque and start in first gear. So it will actually automatically then put itself back into first gear if it calculates that it's going to need to. Also, if the operator's pulling away from the shovel and then the ground conditions change for some reason, whether they get soft underfoot conditions or something and it has to shift back, or there's a steep grade that they enter straight into, the truck will shift back to first automatically, of course. And the operator can manually override this function as well. But the aim here is really to improve efficiency and durability of the transmission. So the fuel consumption is actually improved here because that first gear in most cases is just, it's high engine speed, high torque, and it's unnecessary. So you're burning a lot of fuel for a very short period of time and really not getting a lot of gain out of it. So we start from second gear, and we also eliminate then a lot of those unnecessary first to second gear shifts. Can be changed in ET, so the operation can choose to turn this off if they want to, but from factory it comes activated. So as we said, we expect to see improvements in efficiency and also just operator comfort, because those first and second shifts are typically the most abrupt. So that's second gear start. So next I've got another video to talk about something that's pretty exciting.
Next generation Cat mining trucks help steer operators in the right direction with the new dynamic stability control system. It monitors where the operator intends to go and tracks machine motion, and automatically modulates the brakes to ensure the machine is tracking, giving the operator better control of the truck and helping to ensure a safer mine for everyone.
Okay, so possibly one of the most significant safety improvements on a mining truck in recent years is the introduction of ABS and DSC, or anti-lock brakes and dynamic stability control. So the four-wheel oil-cooled brakes have always allowed for four-wheel braking at any speed, and it's always given us a significant advantage in terms of controllability and safety of our trucks. But now we've introduced this independent control of each wheel. So this means that when the ABS and DSC is enabled, the truck will be able to regulate the braking to each wheel to reduce sliding and keep the truck tracking forward. So similar to modern passenger cars, I mean, ABS, we all know what that does, but it just limits wheel slip during braking, particularly in poor underfoot conditions, and it allows the operator to maintain control of the truck. Naturally, if you lock up a wheel, as soon as you lock that wheel, you lose control of anywhere that wheel is headed. So if the lockup is detected, the brake pressure is to that wheel is modulated independently and automatically. So conversely, dynamic stability control modulates the brakes, not just under a braking condition, but under turning and under power. And it just helps the operator to keep the truck facing forward. So the system monitors the operator's steering intentions through the wheel, along with brake and throttle inputs. Plus the IMU tells the system which way the truck's actually going. Is it going forwards? Is it going sideways? And obviously each of the individual wheel speeds are monitored as well. So then it manages the brake application to keep the truck tracking in the operator's desired path. So between these two features, if the truck will detect a slide or a locked wheel, whether it's one wheel, one corner during braking, or whether it's a whole rear axle sliding or a whole side of the truck, and it enables it bring the truck back under control and keep it straight. So as I said, it's an exciting new development for mining trucks. It provides a unique and unprecedented level of control and safety for operators. So to me, the customer benefit of this is pretty self-evident. But not only does it improve safety, but it improves the operator confidence. So that's why we talk about this as operator as confidence boosting controls. It's really a significant safety improvement, but it also enables the operator to maximize the performance of the truck because they're confident that they're not going to lose control of it if the underfoot conditions change. So particularly recommend this for any site where they get a lot of rain, snow, or other soft conditions for downhill hauling as well. But really, any site where you've seen issues with truck slides, whether it's due to haul road watering or sudden rain events, anything like that, it's definitely worth considering. So can't imagine too many of us would buy a new car without ABS these days. So I think it's the benefits are pretty well known here. But to see this on a 400-ton machine is pretty exciting. So really wanted to just emphasize how remarkable and how much of a significant improvement that is to make that available now on our next gen trucks. And the last feature that I'll talk about today is also something you'd probably be familiar with on passenger cars, but it's this Vision 360, or this top-down view that you can see in the image here. So on the secondary display to the right of the operator, of the steering wheel, I should say, we have this stitched together view of looking down from the truck. The view's created just using software, so the standard 4 cameras are used, and so those camera views are still available. The operator can switch to the front or rear or left or right camera views, but this provides a stitched together view around the whole truck in one go. So anyone that's used these on their own vehicle agree that the view helps to identify obstacles, equipment, vehicles, even other people around your car or around the machine. And so it can make it a lot easier to park, particularly in tight areas, workshops, fuel bays, crib huts, even when you're parking between other machines. And we've even had feedback from operators that actually saves them from having to muck around looking through different camera views. So it actually saves them time and just makes them feel safer that they're not going to run over someone because they can look at all 4 views in one go. So fundamentally, it's really a safety improvement, but it has the potential for it to save time as well. So that's the last feature I wanted to talk about today. And I should have mentioned earlier, please put all of your questions in the Q&A. We've got about 10 minutes now where we'll answer some of those questions. And while we're waiting for everyone to put their questions in, I'm going to see how well people were listening here and how well you remember back to the beginning. So how many features or enhancements have we introduced in the next generation mining trucks? Is it 50 plus, 30 plus, 25 or 12? So not how many features did I talk about today, because it's not all of them, obviously, but I'm interested to know if you can remember how many we've added so far with the next gen trucks. So give everyone a couple of seconds to answer that and to write any questions in the chat. Let's see what results we got. Very good. more than half of you, 2/3 of you were listening, paying attention. So that's great to see. With that, Lou, we'll get to some questions.
Great. Thanks, Rob. That was an excellent presentation. We have a couple of questions that have come in so far. So if you haven't gotten yours in, there's still time to do so. All right, Rob, first question. Will the push button option be retrofittable for older trucks?
Great question. No, unfortunately, is the short answer to that. Okay. Certainly not that I'm aware of. It's integrated into the cab. It's no, it's not intended to be retrofittable.
Okay. All right, here's a great question. Can the next gen trucks be run on alternative fuels?
Yes, they can. So alternative fuels depends on, or the amount of alternative fuel you can run does depend on after treatment. Some limitations there, but trucks without after treatment can run on 100% biodiesel or 100% HVO. HVO is also called renewable diesel, where it's a hydro-treated vegetable oil. So there's without after treatment, we can run on 100%. Trucks that are Tier 4 rated or Euro Stage 5, they can also run on 100% HVO, but biodiesel is limited to 20% or a B20 as we call it, and that's just due to the way that it what it does to the after treatment system itself. So, but yes, alternative fuels are capable of across all of Cat mining trucks. In fact, all of Cat mining engines are able to run those alternative fuels.
Great. Okay, the next question is, can the TPMS2 system be retrofitted?
Yeah, great question. Yes, well, it depends on the model, but we are in the process at the moment of finalising a retrofit kit for F-Series trucks. So there's a lot of F-Series trucks out there. We've got over 1,700 of them in the world, so they will all be retrofittable with TPMS2. 794s, 796s and 798s are now coming out of the factory with TPMS2, and that can also be retrofittable back to a certain vintage, not to all of them, but to many of them. Currently not retrofittable back to D or C series trucks, unfortunately, but yes, there is some retrofit kit options coming, which should be released in the next couple of months for F series.
Great. Okay, so speaking of 794, someone's asked here when these next gen features would be available on the 794 AC truck.
Okay, so they are under development currently. There's still a few years out, so I can't really give an actual time frame for that because it's not my specific product, but they're in development at the moment. It will be a couple more years, a few more years yet before the next gen of those trucks come out. But as I said, the TPMS2 is available on them now. And some of the other features may be made available on those trucks earlier, but yeah, not really my field of expertise. But
okay.
Yes, they're in development.
Great. Okay. So Rob, I think this will be our last question because I want to make sure you have time for the summary. And this one is about the anti-lock braking system. Does it increase or decrease the stopping distance of the truck?
Okay, excellent question. So the testing that we've done, and it depends on the situation, but the testing that we've done is really in poor underfoot conditions, which are inherently unpredictable, I'll say. So In the testing we've done side by side with ABS activated and deactivated, the average over all of those tests is that the stopping distance is reduced with ABS, which is what we would have expected. Now, in some cases, it did actually go a little bit longer, but on the aggregate, it's reduced. But what I will say is that the real benefit here on that was actually the amount of yaw, or how, what that means is yaw is how much the truck turns sideways during the braking. So the amount of turn, or the amount that the rear of the truck actually comes around, is dramatically reduced with ABS. So we see consistently across every test a significant reduction in the amount of yaw, which is really what we were looking to do, is to actually keep the truck tracking forward. So yeah, slight benefit on average with the improving the stopping distance, but really it's maintaining the control during that stop in those poor conditions that's dramatically improved.
Great.
So
thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Lou. So I'll wrap up there then, and I just wanted to just to make sure, I guess, everyone enjoyed today's session, and that you've learned something new about these advanced features. We're always looking to make the Cat mining trucks safer and smarter and more productive and easier to operate. So remember, we didn't go through all of the features, so we've got this QR code here that'll actually take you directly to the cat.com link where you can find that information. So that's cat.com/mining trucks, and you go down to the Why Choose Cat Trucks, and you'll get to see, you'll be able to access or navigate to the videos there. And I also wanted to give a plug for our next session that we're going to do next year, which is on mining truck sustainability solutions. So this is about how we can help you build an efficient path on your journey to zero emissions. So please join us for that one. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks for your participation, everyone, and stay safe. Thanks.
Thank you.